don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, political fans from all over. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you slowly crawling in. We had a extremely long night last night. Extremely long. And hope you guys had some enjoyment out of last night's show. The back and forth, the arguments, the fun, and in and out, specifically if you're from Madison County. Tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be primarily focused on state government, so it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're in Indiana, at least, this is going to deal with you exactly. So please do us a favor, get in, like the show, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, share the show with everyone you know. You know where to go if you want to comment, whether you're here live, you comment over here. If you're here in the future via replay, you comment down below, and everything else is ready to go. We're going to give everyone a few minutes to get in here. Good evening, Cheryl. Listen, Cheryl just reminded me here because she's coming to us live from Facebook. I want to keep reminding everybody, you're going to have to make the jump to YouTube, everyone. You're going to have to jump to YouTube or jump to X. We have a lot of viewers that watch us on Twitter, X. We're live nightly on X. We're also on now Cheryl McKinney's on YouTube, and I'm not trying to bully you. I'm just letting you know sooner rather than later the Facebook is going away. Catherine, like we set Catherine up to live stream the meetings on our platform on YouTube, Rumble, X, and then as soon as she goes live, she shares everything from the Facebook. And I'm like, no, the Facebook, quit directing people to Facebook. YouTube is where it's got to be because Facebook is going to start screwing with how they do stuff. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Also, lesser of our people come from Facebook. So when you're in the Facebook comments, you don't get the full... There's far more people commenting than what's on the screen. And if you're in Facebook, you're not getting the overall fun of being able to banter back and forth with people in the comments. So just my thoughts. Then there's those of you out there that don't ever comment and you watch in the shadows, and we know who you are and we love you. Hey, listen, before we get started on this disaster, it's just disaster of an ordeal. I do want to share this a few more places, but I do need to clarify. I do need to take care of a couple things that I said that we would clarify, and I want to make sure. Number one, I am getting a large amount of people that are asking me, like, several times a day, hey, you're not done. You're not done talking about Ed Carroll, are you? Ed Carroll and Chad Malacote. Are you gonna talk about them more? You didn't say, you didn't even. I'm like, yes. Listen, what we've dropped. So here's how it went, and I've talked about this on the shows. If you watch the shows, a couple of Wednesdays ago, Ed just did what he always does. His office had a fumble. They had a flop. They had a whoopsie, and they screwed up a bunch of crap in the county government. And that got back to me, and I just made a post about it. I wasn't even going to talk about it. That happens so frequently, it's not even worth talking about news. We know that Ed and his office are just completely screwing stuff up because it's just Ed is not a leader. He doesn't know what he's doing up there. He's too busy doing God knows what else, okay? So I wasn't even going to comment about it. I just made a social media post. But off that post, a bunch of people commented out to me and said, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard this? Have you heard this? And so because of that, some information got brought to our attention about the personal situation. And I normally don't cover personal stuff, but when it ties over into family things, when the family stuff or personal stuff ties over into politics and it has bearing because of his position and what he does, unfortunately, it has to be talked about. So I talked about that as a kind of a precursor to a bigger show that is coming about Ed. But there's a lot of little pieces that we have to get right, and we have to find some things out. Now, I just found another piece of the puzzle tonight. Literally, someone told me some information tonight, which is very interesting. And Kate, as we always do when this happens, remind me after the show to tell you what that is, because I haven't texted to you yet. So there is a larger story and a larger show and a more damning show coming about Ed Carroll and Chad Malacote. And it is coming sooner rather than later. But we have to be sure of some things and get pieces and parts in their proper order before we just go, contrary to my haters' opinions, we don't just come out here and say shit without it being true. Okay. So that's that. All right. So I just wanted to let everybody know. Yes. Also, there are a lot of current things that are happening and taking place on the local level in various places in Madison County and Delaware County and in Muncie, and things that are happening that are worth talking about and worth exploring. However, these situations that are going on at the state government happen to just be so much more important at the moment that we will come back to these pieces. Like today, for example, the Delaware County government, the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission met, and there's some things that we need to talk about there. We are not going to cover the Redevelopment Commission meeting tonight. I told everybody that we would. We're not going to be talking about that tonight. I will tell everybody, just to quickly make sure everyone's aware, thank God Shannon Henry pulled Bill Walters' I guess pulled his application or whatever. They pulled it off the table. They voted to move it off the table, and then he pulled it back. So we are no longer considering Bill Walters as the redevelopment commission for that position. And that is a big win for us. That's a good thing. That's wonderful. It's makes me think, and I'm just going to lay it out here right now and let you. I'm going to let you know what I think is going on. I think that Bill Walters and Shannon Henry knew they did not have the votes in the redevelopment commission, because they didn't. They would have had Kerry Wiggerly and Shannon Henry. The other 3 votes would have went against Bill Walters, Amber Green, Rob, Lex Luthor, Kiesling, and Stephen Brand. So Shannon saying, I'm not going to win here. We're not going to get him this contract here. We're going to pull it off the table, and I'm going to remove it from the Redevelopment Commission. So let me tell you what I think he's going to do. He's going to take it to the commissioners, where Stephen Brand will be the one no vote, and Shannon and Sleepy Sister Sherry Riggin will vote it through. And that's what I think we're going to see that sneaky snake do. Now, if it never happens, good. And I'll eat my hat. I'll eat those words, and I'll apologize to Shannon. But I think that's what we're going to see. So mark it down. I said it here first, folks. We will cover the other ongoings from the Redevelopment Commission at a later date. I want to show you guys, just so you see it, the 1 minute and 50-second Board of Works meeting. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're not going to watch it. It's just comical to see that it was literally 1 minute and 50 seconds. Now, when you get on and watch the thing from the city of Muncie, it says 2 minutes and 16 seconds. But as you guys are aware, there's a lot of blank on both ends. So what I do to count what the actual meeting is from the moment that they say, okay, hello, welcome to the Board of Works. When they say hello, that's when it starts. And when they say they adjourn, that's when it ends. And I don't count the nonsense at both ends of it. So 1 minute and 50 seconds for a government meeting. 1 minute and 50 seconds. They voted on $1 million. We'll say that. Not 1.2. It wasn't 1.2. It was just 1 million. 1,021,300 and some. Insane, man. Not like $9,200 per second. All right, whatever. Okay, so that's that. So okay. The last thing that I want to say this to, I have to say this before we get into the big show. Last night, towards the end of the show, I talked about Madison County. We were talking about Madison County, and I brought up the situation with Christy Grabowski. And I said that I had heard that she had blocked me because she questioned my faith, and I went insane about that, and I went just nuts about it. I went nuts about the fact that I was blocked, period, whatever. And I told you, I said, even though I was mad at her, I did give her the props for when I reached out to her. She did not hide. She responded to me, and she said, you know, hey, sorry, I was busy when you called. I will call you back. You want me to call now, or would it be better to call in the morning? I was literally getting ready to go live, so I was like, I will call. You can call me in the morning. And what we thought happened. She did watch that show last night live. So while I was raging against the machine, she was watching it. And the moment that we went dark at like 12:16 last night, she did text me, and I'll tell you exactly what she texted me. There's some things I'm going to talk about that we talked about, and some things that I'm going to keep to myself, but I will clear the air here. So she did respond to me after, and she said, well, that was brutal. That's how I like it. She said, well, that was brutal. I don't know if I will be able to change your perception of me. And I'm like, it's not. Wait a minute. It's not about whether or not you can change my perception of you. It's your perception of me needs to change. Moreover, whatever you think of me, and I don't care what you think of me or who you think I am or what you think I believe in, you need to unblock me, and you need to unblock me now. Okay? So that's where we were there. And I said, well, I'm pretty easy to change, ... Like, what about you? I'm not the one that needs to change. You are. Now, this is before the phone call. I said, well, I'm free. If you want to call now or you want to call in the morning, it's up to you. You can call tomorrow, whenever. I do think it's worth a phone call. And to Grabowski's credit, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of these elected officials, state, federal, local, don't matter where you're talking about, they don't have the guts to do what Grabowski did. Grabowski picked up the phone and called me last night. Tell you exactly, Grabowski called me at 12:29, and we spoke for exactly 38 minutes and 9 seconds. And now, I'm not going to get into the weeds of what Grabowski and I spoke on, because that was our private phone conversation. I will tell you that we had a very good phone call. We laughed, we cried, we came out the other side. In all seriousness, we did have a good phone call. I appreciate the fact that she called me. We both kind of told each other where we stood and what we were doing. I think that there were some communications and misunderstandings from certain aspects. I will tell you, because it was happened. She did block me because she admitted that she was judging me. Now, it was a little bit different. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but there was some judgmentalness there, and she did admit that, and she apologized for it. And she apologized to me in what I've talked to a lot of people, good guys, bad guys, liars, people who are honest. She apologized to me in what I would believe is a very truthful way. She's not a politician, and I accepted her apology, and I apologized for some of the harshness, and we had a good phone conversation. And I will tell you, because I will say this. Cheryl says, I sent her a friend request several days ago, and it is still pending. Now, I will tell you, because of, I don't want to get too in the weeds. She is currently not on social media.
She gave up Facebook for Lent.
For Lent is basically what she did. I wasn't specifically going to say that, but that's between. That's she gave up Facebook for Lent.
That's the way you explained it to me.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, that's what she did. So for anyone that's currently trying to contact her, and that's what that's what I was trying to go around. She gave up Facebook for Lent, and so for anyone that's doing anything with her, she'll be back. And she asked me if I was requiring her to unblock me now, and I was like, no, you don't need to do that. So she'll be back, and what'll happen, and then that's that. So we did talk about the rules behind all of that or whatever, and we went on. And I'll say this. That's a good question that Catherine asked. Will she come on the show? Would she come on the show? At the time I asked her to come on the show, she was a candidate running. It made sense. I don't specifically need her to come on the show now. I don't know. I didn't ask her. I'm sure there might be an occasion in the future where I will ask, hey, will you come on the show? And we'll have to see. I didn't specifically ask her. I fully believe after last night's conversation that if I asked her, she would come on the show. I do believe that. And so, time will tell. We did talk about we did talk about why she didn't second Bethany's motion. And we saw Bethany's words last night, and I'm not going to go into the reasoning behind she's an elected official. If you are interested in why she went behind, she didn't do that, reach out to her, email her, or find out a way to get a hold of her and do that. I'm sure she'll talk to you. But I'm not going to. Last night wasn't exactly what last night's conversation about, so I'm not going to divulge any more of the phone conversation. But that's what it was. So, that's what that was, and I wanted to put that out there. I'm also going to make a social media post for those folks that don't watch and didn't see, and they communicated on social media. So I will do that after the show's over, so that we can kind of clear that airs there. So that's that. As far as the people, like I know that Nicole said that she unfriended me. I don't know. There's not specifically anything that says an elected official has to accept people's friend requests, but you do have to have access, and that's something that she needs to be aware of. And I think through our conversation last night, you have to be able to engage with what any other member of the public can. So I don't know. I don't know if you can comment on my Facebook whether we're friends or not. I don't know if her Facebook's set up that way, but specifically on anything she posts politically, anyone that's not a friend needs to be able to engage. So, you might look into that. So, all right. Without further ado, I'm going to get into what's going on, what my thoughts are about the governor. One of the things is, it's funny, I was talking to producer Kate before we popped on, and during last year's Did You Miss Me Tonight, Kristopher at Kyle's show? I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I think I missed you. So David Williams. So, okay. Here's the thing. Oh no. Is this true? Is this true? Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith was out of the office today because he was attending an event for Charlie Kirk at Purdue. Was Charlie Kirk at Purdue today? Does anyone know? Let's take a look. Yeah. Yes, he was. Charlie Kirk was at Purdue today. Listen to this. Beckwith, you were elected to do a job. And I'll be honest, since you've been in office, I don't know that I've seen you doing anything. You're doing everything except your job. I'm not exactly sure that you fully understand what your job is. You are playing a part. You know the phrase that I hate that people say more than anything? You're just about this for the clicks and the views. You know what I'm talking about? That's Beckwith. That's Beckwith. he shortened his responsibilities. That sure as hell doesn't shorten the hours of the day that he needs to be working and what he needs to be doing versus what he needs to not be doing. He needs to quit with the trolling. He's a lieutenant governor. He's not a social justice warrior. And he's so caught up and consumed by the fact that he's out here fighting the leftists. Listen, quit your job as lieutenant governor and go fight all of the leftists that you want. But for the next 4 years, unless you want, unless you don't want to step down, then you need to get the hell back to Indianapolis and start doing your job. I like Charlie Kirk. I would have been cool with Beckwith going to Charlie Kirk in the evening on Saturday. I would have been fine with him going during the day on a Thursday if he hadn't just spent the last 2 weeks jerking everybody around over a $90,000 car. What kind of... And here's the thing. I don't even care about the fact that he's a pastor at the moment. He's the lieutenant governor, and that's what's bothersome to me. So it's going to get really old soon. And you know, I really hope that I don't like for anybody to have a fight and to have a falling out, but I really hope that Kendall sees him for what he is. I'll be honest. I feel like Beckwith uses Rob. I feel like he uses Kendall's platform, and I hope one of these days that Rob sees that and knows it. And I'm really shocked by this. So going and taking a look at the lieutenant governor's page really quickly. I'm going to go down here and look. We're looking at his official. I'll bring you along on this little adventure here. Give me a second. I should have had this set up here already. That's exactly right. He's a likable guy until you watch his behaviors, until you're around him and you see that he's just honestly pretty lame. I'm shocked. So I would have expected the lieutenant governor, who is put in there and who all of his supporters are loving him, because like he's supposed to be doing, you know, all this good work, and he's supposed to be pushing back on Braun when Braun is screwing up. Well, let me tell you something. Braun is screwing up right now. So where is Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith to be pushing back against his governor? All right. So we're here. We're here on the Twitter feed of the lieutenant governor. That's exactly right. I think that's exactly right, David. I think there are a lot of them that are trying to run around and act like Trump, and here's what I want everyone to do. I want them to act like themselves and act like the people who are elected to seats to do a damn job. You know, if they want to have a identity crisis and run around acting like Trump, I guess that's fine, but do your job while you're at it. And if you don't, you know, expect the heat for it. Okay? So here we have Beckwith's official lieutenant governor Twitter. And we're going to go down here. So this is this he put out 12 hours ago. I found myself walking out of this house to get into a car to go rob some drug dealer. This week's podcast features my guest, Anthony Pons. Anthony details his time in prison and his struggles to turn his life around. Everyone should spend some time and listen to this story. What is this? Like, this is probably a great story. This is probably something that people need to hear. And if Beckwith wants to do this on his time off as a preacher, great. What does this have to do with being the lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana? Okay. He's trying to be Trump and Joe Rogan in one. Okay. So 12 hours ago, he's got the full episode up. 12 hours. I mean, all he's got is this thing. Okay. We've got, all right, April 9th. He's got more content of this. You know, he's posting a more content about his podcast than I do. And I'm a content creator. Okay, look here. Another post. Watch Anthony Pons. Oh, look. Another post. Watch on Rumble here. Okay. Oh, look. Coming to a Toys R Us near you. Look at this. Micah Beckwith action figure. So this dude does not know what his job is. This guy is solely a troll. That's what he is. And I'm sorry, but is this what the grassroots people got behind him to do? I want to know. I want to have one of these people on. Where is his content? That's exactly right. That's exactly right, David. He could be having his communication director do that. But you know what it is? It's a bad look. Because you know what? If I was lieutenant governor, I would be doing? I would be having my communications director, which is, you want to talk about his communications director? Yes, that's hilarious. Cute voodoo doll. I'm going to buy it and see if I can get it to do some work. Like, I mean, if that's true, if it's like the voodoo doll, I'm going to be like getting him and doing work and walking his little ass down to the southern Indiana and helping the people of the floods. And I'm going to be using the little doll to type messages. We should be vetoing this, Governor Braun. Where is your veto pen? Well, I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked that he's not said any damn thing about Senate Bill 1. Here's April 9th. I'm continuing to travel the state, talking about the convergence of faith and government. I was in Terre Haute recently meeting with faith leaders to discuss how churches and charities can provide solutions to some of the state's long-standing challenges. Why doesn't this guy step down as lieutenant governor and go working as hard as he is doing this, being a preacher and communicating with the actual political figures and churches and that's what he's passionate about. This guy is not passionate about helping the constituents of the state of Indiana as his lieutenant governor. No. Braun doesn't want him to be running. Braun wants him to shut up and go away. This is not what Braun wants him to do. Moreover, he didn't get elected by his grassroots effort to bow down and just do whatever mindless nonsense that Braun wanted him to do. I guarantee you 1,000% Braun didn't want him to start a podcast and post about a podcast 30 times a day. That's not true. Braun did not want him to get a Cybertruck and troll a Democrat state representative. This is nonsensical. Let's go back and see. We can read more here. Braun, okay, here he's hosting a roundtable of advanced faith-based initiatives. Okay. Let's see here. Governor Braun, this is on April 9th. Governor Braun signed 3 executive orders that will bring needed efficiency and transparency to the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Now, look, I'm fine with that. That's great. Thank you, Braun, for doing that. That's got nothing to... Lieutenant Governor Beckwith didn't do anything. He's just reporting about something that Braun did. Okay? Let's see how far we can get down, how far we've got to go. Here, okay, here he reposted on April 7th, Indiana Department of Ag. Now, he reposted something that he's supposed to be doing with that. That's good. Okay, let's see. Oh, we've now made it to another posting from Anthony Pond's unscripted podcast. Now we're back in here. We're back to seeing pages and pages of this. Okay, let's see here. Links in the comment. Another great day here at the Indiana State House. Committee meetings and sessions of both the House and Senate are streamed live every day. Get informed and get involved in your state house government. Okay, and here he takes a... let's look at this. Oh, look. Listen, man. So Beckwith, he's nonsense. This is nothing, okay? So Braun put out a statement today. Let's go listen to see what Governor Braun had to say today. All right? Four hours ago, Senate Bill 1 offers meaningful tax relief for Hoosiers. The plan to cut, cap, and reform means relief now and systematic changes for the future to protect taxpayers. Thank you to the House for their hard work. I look forward to the Senate sending this to my desk for signature next week. Listen, you have to pick your poison. It's either traveling around or is it the Kendall and Casey show? Or did they break up? I guess I don't know what you mean. I'm okay with him traveling around if he's doing work. I'm not okay with him traveling around to get on a conservative, national conservative content creator so he can get some views and clicks and points and to fight the national leftists. I want him to be doing the work of trying to whip these Indiana senators into doing good in the legislature. I want him to be talking to these state representatives. You know, one of his biggest, bestest buddies of all times, J.D. Prescott. Get J.D. Prescott in line. See, we're having a great big problem here is no. you're getting lost in the trap of what these government officials try to tell us. You can't do that. He is an elected official. The people put him in office. It's not there for Braun to let him do anything. He does what he pleases and pushes back. That's what he was elected to do. He was elected by the people to be a pushback against this nonsense with Braun. Why has he not made a statement? Why has he not made a statement against this? Not said anything one way or another against this Senate Bill 1. Absolutely nuts that this is what he's doing. So let me show you here from this today at the IGA. Third reading of the bill happened today. And so let me, do they have this blocked out? All right, there we go. Indiana General Assembly's webpage. If we go to their webpage, here we see here, and we go down to the 11 o'clock House session, okay, click here. We see that they had a total of 17 bills and 16 amendments, okay? And wait a minute. Is that for tomorrow? Oh, no, that's from the 14th. Sorry, I thought that didn't look right. Thursday, April 10th. Okay, I didn't think that looked right. So 11 bills, 40 amendments. All right, they had a number 9 bills and 40 amendments for second reading. Okay, and that doesn't really. I mean, there's things in there that matter, but what we were really concerned about was the bills in there for a third reading, and we can see that they have 2 bills there. The bill that we are most concerned about at the moment is Senate Bill 1. Okay. And Senate Bill 1, we'll go up here and look at this and see how this fleshed out here. I hate that it does that, but it is what it is. It's all right. It's black. You guys can still see it. Indiana House of Representatives, 124th General Assembly, roll call, 433, bill passed. Senate Bill 1, third reading, 65 yays, 29 nays, and 6 excused. All right. All 100 of our state representatives voted in this or were excused. There was no one like not voting or whatever. So, that's it. The numbers work out. And there were 3 Republicans, count them, 3 Republicans that voted against this. Okay, there were 6 excused, and I think it's interesting to see who was excused. We don't, of course, know why, but this passed, and so some of these folks that voted for it, I find it odd. I find it odd that Criswell voted for this from District 54. Even though he was the one telling everyone in the Henry County government that this was like a disaster, way back last year, and, they would do anything to stop this. But yet he was right along voting for it. Obviously, Prescott voted for it. Pierce voted for it. No Democrats voted for it. No Democrats voted for it. The it was voted for all by Republicans, and that's That's what happened there. So there are 100 state representatives, and of the 100 of them, 30 of the 100 are Democrat. So if you go back and you look, let me see here which one of these people is Democrat. Schonkweiler, I think, is a Democrat. Okay. Nope, that's wrong. So I don't know which one of these people here were Democrats. I wish they would put all their first names on this as well, not just their last name. I'll have to go back down and look and find at a later point. I'll post at a later point on social media who the breakdown was. But there were 65 that voted in favor, 29 that voted against, 6 excused. And basically, this is just this now goes back to the Senate. And, you know, we jokingly, not jokingly, I think he was very serious. We heard the other day Rob Kendall say that he had told Beckwith that what he needs to do is when this gets sent to him, that he needs to burn the document instead of sign it and send a message. And of course, he can be compelled to sign the document. However, if he wants to make a stand, if he wants to get clicks and views, if he really wants to do his job, do the job that the people elected him to do, he could make a statement and take a stand. And sometimes it's hard taking a stand. Sometimes it's not easy to do things that, you know, are a little difficult. And, like, it seems like Beckwith is one of those people. It's like, oh yeah. I could do, what's hard at the time that I need to do it. But so far, I've not seen him step up and do that. He's running around playing a bit part, and he's not showing me that he has what it takes. You know, not everybody is willing to stand up and fight for what they truly believe or what they say they believe. Principles. Most people tend to back down at the last moment. He doesn't have to burn the thing, but he could comment. He could let us know what he's thinking. He could let us know what he feels about this. But, you know, like I don't know who said that there. I thought it was Kate. You know, maybe it's not. He's just a weak individual, at least politically. And I'm not seeing anything out of him that is showing us that, he's going to do anything that the public put him in office to do, at least with Senate Bill 1. Governor Braun put out a statement 13 hours ago, and the statement that said, that is what he said he was going to do in his campaign, David. That's exactly right. 110%. That's exactly right. He said he was going to do that. And, you know, I don't know why we're not seeing that. Governor Braun said, I have heard from several Hoosiers since my property tax deal was announced yesterday, who are concerned about the local income tax provisions in the bill. Let me be clear. I agreed to a deal that delivers meaningful property tax cuts, eliminates the proposed full phase-out of business personal property taxes, and cuts the total income tax rate by 23% from 3.75 to 2.9%. This deal puts a cap on how much locals can tax your income. Without this bill, they could tax your income even more. I trust this deal I described above is what listen to this. Listen to this. I agreed to a deal that delivers meaningful property tax cuts, eliminates the proposed and full phase out of business personal property taxes, and cuts the local tax income tax rate from da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This deal puts a cap on how much locals can tax your income. Without this bill, they could tax your income even more. I trust the deal I described above is what is in the amendment the House passed yesterday. But I have our team going through it line by line to verify all of the language matches the deal. So you mean to tell me that you agreed to something without seeing it first? Why didn't you go through this line by line then? That makes no damn sense. That's insane to me. Okay? Furthermore, this is what Braun said he would not do. Braun said he wouldn't do this. And he's doing just this very thing right here. And this is why people have a problem with what's going on. Hello?
Well, I'd just like to point out that local income tax, they talk about they dropped the maximum rate from 3.75 to 2.9. Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like, we got a really great deal out of that. Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the highest tax rate that there is currently levied in Indiana? For county,
what is it?
For county lit? 3%.
3%. It's 3%.
So none of the counties are going to drop their local income tax rates.
Yeah.
They might raise them, but you've got 2 counties in the state that are at 3%. They're going to have to drop theirs.
Yeah.
0.1%. And in the meantime, your local government
mm-hmm.
can now levy a 1.2% tax. 2.9 plus 1.2 is 4.1, which is greater than 3.75, which we weren't paying anyway.
Right.
Math is a bitch, guys.
Yeah, that's, that it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense doing what they're doing here. And that's the whole big deal. It's like, listen, we all know and we expect politicians to lie to us. We expect that. All right, we know that they're going to do that. But it's crazy wild. Normally they're lying to like one or of us at a time or here or there. It's crazy wild to me that J.D. Prescott goes and stands before the people at the tax rally that they held and does what he said he would do and then goes into the Ways and Means Committee and completely flip-flops on what he says. Insane to me. It's crazy to think that that's what he did. And to know that Braun attended that same tax rally and he stood there and he said that he would not deal with this. He was not going to put up with this, that he was elected for this reason and this was his main point and this is what he was elected to do. And now we see that, this is a historic property tax reform and how proud he is to sign this. And he's talking to them about how quickly he's wanting this to get to his desk. Certainly more than $300 property tax credit. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's it's really infuriating. It's really infuriating to see what we're getting versus what just, when was the property tax rally? On the 17th? On the 17th? Now, I don't know who exactly said this. And to be fair, I wish I knew who this was, but someone on social media posted a comment, and the post behind the comment says, "This is from one of our best state representatives commenting on Senate Bill 1. However, for whatever reason, they've blurred out who it is, and I take a little bit of issue with that. But this is what this thing says. The bill was a no-win proposition, and the fact that the governor came out yesterday before we went to the floor and said that he was prepared to sign the bill for historic property tax relief, which this bill is not, did not help. And I want everybody to be aware of that. I want everyone to be aware of that. And see, I think this is the games that go on and that happen. So yesterday, the state representatives were supposed to take to the floor at 1:30. And I got ready. I was ready to watch it. I wasn't going to live stream it because I thought that they were going to talk about it first. And I guess I didn't know about, I thought I didn't know what they were going to do. So I wasn't prepared. I didn't want to live stream the whole thing. And I didn't want to screw around with missing it. So I was like, we'll just watch it and then we'll talk about it. Well, what they did is they flip-flopped it because it was supposed to be up first, but then they didn't talk about it until the end. But the biggest thing is, I guess they were supposed to come on at one. Well, yeah, I'll tell you right now, we can go back and look. They have it on here. Let me go look right now. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, Wednesday the 9th. Wednesday the 9th, yeah, they were supposed to start at 1:30. At about 1:40, they came on and said, the meeting has been pushed back until 2 p.m. 2 p.m. came and went, and they weren't on. And then they finally started at about 2:30 or maybe 2:25, 2:30, somewhere in there. And what's crazy is they come on and start at, we'll say 2:20. And Senate Bill 1 was first up, but they didn't do Senate Bill 1 first. Instead, they flipped. I can show you this here so you can see this. They flipped here. They didn't take Senate Bill 1. They didn't do second reading first. They went from bottom up. So they started on third readings, and they started Senate Bill 475, and they did the third readings, and then they went into second readings, and they did Senate Bill 331, Senate Bill 289, Senate Bill 197, and Senate Bill, they finally got to Senate Bill 1. Well, what's interesting about this is that means by the time they were talking about Senate Bill 1, Braun had already sent out his press release to all of the media. I got one of these press releases, And let me go back here and look when I got it. I'll tell you the exact time. April 9th. It got sent out. I got this at 2:49 p.m. He sent out to all of the media at Wednesday, April 9th, 2:49 p.m. Also, when did he tweet it? Yeah, okay. So he tweeted it at 2:42. So he tweeted this at 2:42 and then told his people, send it. And the property tax press release went out. And that said, yesterday, before they even were done talking about Amendment 36, they hadn't even stopped talking about it. And he says, I'm proud to announce that with Amendment 36 to Senate Bill 1, we have agreed upon a plan to bring historic property tax relief to Hoosiers. I am grateful for the leadership of Speaker Todd Houston and President Pro Tem Rod Bray, and for the way they have partnered with us to deliver this meaningful tax relief to Hoosiers. I encourage House members to support this amendment and urge the Senate to take action to quickly get it to my desk for signature. Absolutely insane, man. Absolutely bloody insane. So let's take a look at some of these comments. Ethan Hatcher from 93.1 says, my disappointment is immeasurable. This new proposal basically does nothing for a person like me. A 10% credit on my homestead just doesn't do much. With no rate reset to 2021 or reform on the appraisal loophole of the savings for are a far cry from historic. Ken Colbert says, post the proposed amendments. Hoosiers want to see them. Elected officials are not being transparent. Okay, let's see. I think English, Indy Spanglish put up the picture of Braun and said, promises made, promises ... Unless amendment, blah, 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 completely abolishes property taxes, who cares? Taxation is theft. A blatant, unmitigated sellout. There is no tax relief in this bill. We were lied to. If you had any care for we the people, you'd veto this legislation and make this legislator do what was promised in special session. Just time after time after time after time. S. Schuyler says, hey, Rob Kendall plus Jason Hammer, WTF. My Hamilton County property taxes increased again this year, 29% since 2021 pay. 2022, they've risen 70%, and it's 95% due to assessment. Add that to I'm a veteran, over 65, but none of those deductions do or will apply to me. It now takes 1.5 Social Security checks just to pay property taxes. Fair? I think not. This is the one that makes business property up to $2 million tax exempt. It was $80,000. Yeah. This is really crazy. So it's nuts to me that we have this going on. Okay, now back to this statement that this person wrote, who again is apparently some kind of state representative. We don't know who he is, but it says, let's see here. The bill was a no-win proposition, and the fact that the governor came out yesterday before we went to the floor and said that he was prepared to sign the bill for historic property tax relief, which this bill is not, did not help. Had they brought the bill that was brought forward to committee on Monday to the floor for a vote, I would have absolutely voted no, because there was next to no relief there, and I don't actually even know if anybody in my district would have even had a reduced bill. However, this legislation stops the bleed. This is this person's claim. There is a claim out there that the legislation adds new tax, but that is not true. Counties and local government can currently assess a 3.7 lit now. The bill lowers that to 2.9%. 2/3 of Hoosiers will see a lower property tax bill from 2025 to 2026, which means that the dramatic increase will stop and some will have a lower bill. The bill is absolutely not good. Okay. It is not historic property tax relief, but it also moves school referendums to general election. It has a cooling off between referendums for controlled projects and requires clarity of language on the ballot. There is another provision in the bill that phases in a 2/3 homestead, phases in, or is it out? Does it phase in or phase out? A 2/3 homestead deduction. I guess it phases in.
They're phasing it in. So
okay,
the way that
right.
this is the way this is supposed to work. So right now you get a $48,000 homestead deduction on your home, period. End of state. If you're a veteran, you get an additional up to $24,000 if you're a disabled veteran. Okay. So what they're doing is they're phasing that out, and they're phasing in just a flat rate percentage.
Well, that's what they're doing. Okay.
Okay. So provided that your home does not increase in value, you could see a pretty substantial savings from 48% to 66%. Yeah, that's a difference. However,
yeah, but
is there anything in this bill that prevents them from raising assessments?
No.
There used to be. In February, there was.
Yeah.
And they got rid of it in March. And
yeah,
I haven't seen anything that they put it back on.
And keep in mind, in February, the bill was 50 pages. Now, I don't know a whole lot of people that's going to sit down and read a 50-page bill. Kate would, Brandon would, I would. There are some of you out there that would. Catherine probably would. Some people will do that. Rob Kendall will do it. Casey and them will do it. We would do it, but not everybody will. But
that and the IGA website's a bitch to navigate anyway.
Absolutely.
Now you've got one amendment that's almost 400 pages on top of this bill.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
One amendment.
Well, so by the time,
and good luck finding it.
By the time it went to the Senate, they had changed it, and it was up to like 400 pages just in the first go. Then, like Kate said, there's just one amendment that's an additional 368 pages. I think Amendment 36 was like 90 pages, maybe 90 pages, or 60 or 90.
Yeah,
one or the other. So that's what I'm saying. Nobody's understanding that. A person posted on 93.1's feed the other day. The guy said, my wife has a master's degree in like literature and something else. I have a master's degree and I'm an engineer, and we are not able to figure this bill out.
Reading this bill was just a freaking nightmare. It does not, there is so much legalese in it that trying to figure out what it means is damn near next to impossible. But when you step back and you look at all the pieces, parts, and try to put them together, all I hear is bend over, here it comes again.
Yeah, right. So
they keep throwing out that $300 figure on, tax credit, $300 tax credit. Like everyone in the state, when you get your taxes and you're doing them at the end of the year, you get to write 300 on that line.
Yeah, right.
And you don't. You get 10% of what you pay in property taxes. So if your total bill for the year is $1,000, you get to claim 100.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it sound good. And it all comes down to, you notice all these representatives, what are they saying? Same thing this guy is.
Yeah.
It's not everything we wanted, but we thought we should give you at least something. We should give you some crumbs. And then just wait, because this is the new carrot, Kristopher.
Yeah. This is why they all need to be reelected.
Yeah, you need to reelect them so they can take care of this.
I thought about that.
They can do better.
Yes, they can do better. That's what Braun said. That's what Braun said in this other statement here when Braun says, let me see where this other statement is at. Braun says, let me see. I saw this statement earlier. He said something to that the basically, you know, I've lived up to what I said I would do, and now comes the hard work. The next 4 years we will be working on X, Y, and Z. Look, do whatever you want in the next 4 years, because my God, you don't run for re-election. Like you should know that there's no reason to even file. There is no reason to even file. And I'm telling you, if this 4 years from now, we possibly have a deadline to this show. I don't care what happens federally. I don't care what happens on the local level. I don't care what happens in Muncie or Anderson. If in 4 years, Hoosiers re-elect Holcomb 2.0 for this, then I think that I'll just be done with politics. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's exactly the problem. Catherine is 100% right on that right there. That is right. Now, I want to show you. Okay, so let me finish reading this guy's statement here. But it also moves school referendums between referendums for control, homestead. So my vote today was to stop the bleed and to reduce the bill of two-thirds of the population. It was not a vote stating that it was a great bill, and I said that from the floor of the House. I know my caucus did not appreciate me saying that from the floor of the House, but it was true. That's why I voted for it, and I appreciate you asking me. I can go back and change my vote to no, but then I am voting to continue to give the government more Hoosier money, and I didn't feel that was the right thing to do. So, again, I don't know who said this. I don't know why this person's hiding it. Let me see if I can figure out. This person was active just a few minutes ago, so I don't know if I can get them to actually tell me who it's from. I don't know. Right?
Mother has arrived and no water still.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Yes, Brody, come get the dog. Interesting question from Alva here.
Where is Rainwater and what's his take on this? Great question. So I was just going to ask Kate towards the end of this show, and tell you people that there's a possibility if we could maybe get Donald on tomorrow, if she would be capable of doing tomorrow's show. I would definitely like to have Don on and to talk about his thoughts on this, because I'm telling you 1,000%, you know that Don has thoughts, and I would definitely like to hear those thoughts. That would be extremely interesting to find out if that in fact is the case. So we don't currently know. Well, let me tell you what. Let's go just take a look on his social media to see if we can find out what his thoughts are. If he's made, whoa, where did I go? If he's made a post on this, let's find that out. I don't know if he's posted anything or not. No, the last thing he's not posted anything about it. But I'm sure he has a lot. I'm sure he normally. Let me tell you. This is what he generally says. Don't look at me. That's what he spent about the 4 years of Holcomb doing all that crazy shit to us that he did. I remember sitting down at the State House and everybody was in there grumbling and we were watching how things were going. And Don was just sitting there smiling, holding his head up. And every time somebody comes over, he'd say, "Hey, don't look at me. Don't look at me." So yeah, that's crazy. The other thing, so you sent me something here, Kate. I'm looking here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out. I didn't get to see what was the thing that you sent me from way back in March.
So that was the thing about the caps for assessments.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I found it in February where they had included a cap, and it wasn't on assessments. The cap was on like the amount of your bill can't go up more than 1%, 2%, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually on the assessments. And then in March, they got rid of it. And then I can't find anything since then talking about in this version of the bill there being any kind of assessment cap. So I don't think there is one anymore.
That wouldn't be
but
shocking.
I did notice when reading the Indy Star article talking about, I think it was Indy Star, one of the articles was talking about what this property tax bill does.
Yeah.
It was talking about that the new homestead thing, and it specifically said in there, if your property value does not increase, you will save X amount.
It increases every year.
I know it increases every year and there's no cap on it. So we have people who were getting, you remember 2020, 2021, 2022, people were getting on and talking about my property tax assessment went up 25%. And that one guy, wasn't it like 52% was his assessment went up?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So
the other issue that I find interesting here is when looking on the state, when looking at the IGA website,
so they went from eliminating property taxes to actually making you pay more.
Well,
I think so.
For the true majority of people, when looking for, look here, when looking at the Indiana, let's see, the IGA website, I cannot find Amendment 45. Amendment 45 cannot be found.
Oh,
So,
no, that's because you're not looking in the right place. That is
Why?
not a House amendment. That is
Okay.
a committee amendment.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Well,
Yeah. That's why you can't find it. Because I went in there, I was like, where the heck is this amendment?
wait a minute. Do they have it here
Yeah,
too?
keep going, keep going, keep
Okay,
going.
okay,
It's
okay.
on there, I promise you.
Okay, right here we are. Okay. So that's what I was doing
This is
was
why we say that this site is
Yeah,
bloody
it's really
impossible
hard.
to navigate.
Yeah.
And it's really
You-
hard to find what you're looking for.
Even for people who like you use it, if if you're not using this daily, it's hard. And even when you do. Okay, so here's the rundown. Let's write this down here. Okay. So the bill now, it was originally 50 pages. The bill now is 355 pages. The note, the fiscal note that they finally just uploaded today is 17 pages. And I was wrong. Amendment 36 was 6 pages, not 60. But then we get to Amendment 45, and that's 368. So
It doesn't matter. Between its fiscal note and the amendment, that is still, what, 8 times longer than the bill itself.
yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever finish that song last night, by the way?
I did not. No, it was the night before.
Oh, the night
but
before.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got things working on it, but I've not got the full thing. But I will, and
Okay.
I'm
super excited for you to premiere that for us.
Yeah, it'll be good. It will be fantastic. I think that'll be amazing. 7.
Do you still need me, or you're good?
No, you're fine. I just wanted to double check that with you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4. And then, okay. So 746 pages is how long this bill is. And it's crazy, man. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So let me get out of here. The other thing here is, and I don't even know if he's still here. I hope he is. But going back to this deal and what they did with this Union County school deal. That's the other thing. Now, what a lot of people, what you might not have seen, is there's this big fight right now in just this one really small area of Indiana. The school corporation, Union School Corporation, and J.D. Prescott and state representative J.D. Prescott and state senator Scott Alexander have both been on the warpath to shut this school down. Because and listen, there's things that we could question there if we want, if you're looking into it. It's a school. It's got 250, 300 actual students. They've got 9,000 online students, and they're making a pretty good chunk of change in there, and that's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to take that money and do different things with it, and that's what the whole thing. This all comes down to money. It doesn't come down to what's good for education or not good for education, or good for kids or not good for kids. It all comes down to power and money, and that's what it all always boils down to. Okay. Well, for some reason, this little nugget of weirdness is shoved into Amendment 45, and that's the reason that they're giving for Prescott lying. Look, I'll be honest. I don't care if that was in there or not. Prescott was going to vote for this bill. He was not going to vote for the bill. So everything that he did with Kendall and Casey for all that time, it was just all a game. Same thing Beckwith is doing. Got to keep looking at these people. They are not good conservative politicos. They are actors playing a role. Okay, that's what's going on there. Well, a bunch of people have been reaching out and trying to find out like what Prescott has to say about this, what Alexander has to say about this. Prescott was calling Rob on his personal phone during the show. Or really, Jack Johnson was, but he wasn't, or he wouldn't call in and talk to Rob live on air. Why will Prescott not discuss this? So Alexander put out a statement today. And I want you guys to see this statement. Have you seen this, Kate? 2 buses from Muncie go to Union every day. That's interesting. I did not know that. Well, let me ask you, was there anybody that live streamed that event, Bartlett? That you know of? Did you see anybody do that? Hey, let me pull this up here. I recorded it, but no live stream audio. Oh, man, if you could get that to me, I would love to hear that. If you're able to put it up or whatever, probably bad as it was in a cafeteria, of course. Yeah. Well, I would be interested in giving that a listen. Okay. This statement, thank you. This statement reads as follows. Statement from State Senator Scott Alexander. State Senator Scott Alexander, Republican Muncie, made the following statement today regarding Senate Bill 1 amendment concerning Union School Corporation. State House, April 9th, 2025. This amendment was proposed due to Union School Corporation's continuously low reading proficiency and state assessment scores, which are some of the lowest in the state. Negative, I don't know if that's surely it's not negative. He just put the line 44.2% passed the iRead in 2024. Only 3.7 tested proficient in mathematics and English language arts in the iLearn, and 29.62 tested proficient on English and math in the SAT exam. These problems are not new developments, and this language was brought forward to help initiate the discussion on how to ensure these students are receiving the best education possible. And that's what he had to say. And then Bartlett's saying, they're saying complete lie. They finished above the state average this year. And I'm going to tell you, I've talked to a school board member from the school, and I've talked to another individual from the school, and that's all I'll say. I'm not going to name names or whatever. I'm just going to say that, because that gives everybody, a proper out. Everybody can deny they were the one that talked to me if they so choose. And what I've heard is this was all basically like kind of like everything else with it. It's all been like a shell game. So originally Prescott comes and tells them one thing. And then a meeting with Prescott and Alexander, they communicate completely different material. And it's like, wait a minute. So what is truth here? What you told me originally one-on-one, or what you're telling me now with more of us in the room? So that is a problem. And that of course is always the issue. And right now, like, I don't know. I'm hearing like one person is saying that, that the Muncie Fire thing. I don't know why everybody, I mean, yeah, he's still getting paid. I'm surprised that people didn't know that until they vote, until the Merit Commission votes to not pay him, he's going to get paid. It's just, I don't know. Eventually they'll have to do something about it, I guess. Everybody will be dead and he'll still be getting paid. It's insane. So everybody and their brother is putting this on Prescott, saying that Prescott's got the problem here. Prescott wants to shut this down. The school officials that I spoke to said they thought that it was Scott Alexander, and that Scott Alexander was the one saying, he wanted every school to look like Delta. Look, I went to Delta. I got Eagle Pride. I don't care if any other school looks like Delta ever. I don't give a shit. Like, that's a weird thing to say. So they are hiring an attorney, and they are going to fight this. They are hiring a constitutional attorney, and the school is fighting it. They do believe that this has absolutely broken some constitutional rights, and they're concerned about how they have been treated. Where was that at, Kate? Where was he on the radio at?
I thought that it got sent in the group this morning. I thought Brando sent it to us on the local station here, I think.
Then I missed that.
Apparently so.
Okay, let me see where we're at.
Come on. Okay, so there's a post from him by Jared Ogden to the Nosy Asses page. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Yep.
A special report on Star 98.3 WZZY.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll play it on here. That's good. Yeah. All right. I did see this and I was like, what is this? So, okay, we're going to hear, this is funny.
6 minutes.
So Prescott has had all this time with the big guys down in Indianapolis, and he's finally let them see his true colors. And now it's all screwed up for him. So he had to snake back to the little guys at 98.3, the Star, WZZY. Can we say that's W? I was going to spell sleazy, but I couldn't get it pulled off that fast. So, yeah, I got your sleazy right here. Let's listen to this, and we'll see what you guys have to think about this.
Why? I'm Noah Schubert. Senate Bill 1 has been the topic of headlines in Indiana ever since its introduction on January 14th in the Committee.
Is that a 12-year-old?
On tax and fiscal policy. For months, it has been poked and prodded.
That sounds like it could be one of your kids. That's the one that likes the tornadoes.
Amended and debated, sent in and out of committee and to every corner of the House and Senate. While marketed as a generic piece of legislation to reduce property taxes for Hoosiers, the more digging one does, the more is discovered that is buried in this extremely complex bill. Union School Corporation School Board President Christina Ogden is one of those seekers who has found a troubling amendment attached to SB 1, the complete closure of Union School Corporation. Proposed by Republican Representative J.D. Prescott, the included legislation would dissolve the school district by July 1st, 2027, and have it absorbed by the Blue River Valley School District and Monroe Central School Corporation. Ogden now sits at the forefront of a fight to keep her school open.
This isn't just a Randolph County Union School problem. This is an attack on public education. They can now just erase 81 jobs in Randolph County and 350 other teachers that, are a part of our virtual program. That is concerning.
Ogden's involvement with union schools began back in 2015, when her and fellow advocate Tracy Green first ran for school board to save the district from similar attacks 10 years ago.
And at the time, people thought the idea of saving us was incredibly far-fetched. And we said that we were going to have to work together with outside-the-box, strategies to be able to keep the doors open. And that's exactly what we did with the creation of INDLS and our partnership with that online virtual program.
The virtual program.
Bartlett, if you got something for me to read, send it to me in Messenger. I don't know where you're talking about going to read what.
Program she is referring to is the Indiana Digital Learning School, or INDLS. Established in 2017, it allows students to attend school fully virtually while maintaining synchronous teaching, and allows children statewide to pursue a home-based school environment that is tailored to their needs. Each student is assigned an advisor, their progress and attendance is actively tracked, and they take the same standardized tests as all other public school students. This program has been invaluable, according to Ogden, and has a proven track record of success.
Many of the kids that arrive at Union School Corporation arrive there because the school that they came from was not able to facilitate their needs. The class sizes were too big. They weren't getting individualized attention. We have students and parent testimonials where they said, our kids were failing at the school and now they're on the AB honor roll. They enjoy going to school. That is what our students stand to lose.
Now, the pressure comes not just from community doubters, but elected officials. Ogden claimed in a Facebook post that she was given 3 ultimatum choices from Prescott in a meeting earlier this year: charter and cease receiving state funding, get rid of the online program or adjust the contract so it no longer received funding, or have the House close the district. A subsequent meeting with Prescott, along with State Senator Scott Alexander, revealed a harsh truth.
I do not think that option 1 and option 2 were ever actually an option we were going to be able to get to choose between. He didn't even give us an opportunity to prove any of our data to him. The meeting was to save face, to say they met with us, but they honestly never gave us an opportunity.
The data she refers to are the test scores used to judge the success of the school. Representative Prescott, when reached out to for comment, stated that Union School Corporation had, quote, some of the lowest reading proficiency scores in the state, citing that, quote, only 42.6% of their third graders passed the Indiana Reading Evaluation and Determination, or IREAD, compared to more than 90% in neighboring districts. Ogden does not believe this tells the full story.
rather than look at our test scores based on our 3 individual schools, which is Union School in building students, our alternative school, and our virtual school. They combined them all, and they wanted to talk about those numbers. And it's really unfair to include alternative school numbers within the other numbers, because those students might not test well, but those students are all graduating high school and they're going on and getting careers in the state of Indiana.
Quantitative data aside, Representative Prescott believes that Union School Corporation may not provide the best opportunity for students to succeed, sharing in the same statement that the amendment, quote, is about starting a conversation on how to better serve these students and ensure they have access to a quality education. Ogden, on the other hand, sees it as a way to use Union as an example for their vision of education in Indiana.
If they can go ahead and do this to Union, then there's nothing saying they can't do it to the rest of the schools in Indiana, because ultimately they're looking for a model where it is a 1-county school, and then they want charter and private education to fill in the rest of the buckets.
Additionally, she believes there are other factors that are not being taken into consideration, including the size of Randolph County making it hard to fairly rezone students, increasing the distance between students and schools, which makes bus rides much longer. But it's not just the wishes of the students that are under threat, but as Ogden says, the will of the people.
Randolph County wants 5 small schools. Our voters have voted numerous times to that. And they are basically taking our voters' opinions and their votes away.
With the potential passing of SB 1 in the House and its placement on Governor Braun's desk ever looming, it's now or never for Ogden's fight to keep the schools open.
Communities without school corporations die. And that's something nobody wants to talk about either.
I've been Noah Schubert with a special report on Star 98.3 WZZY.
Where was Prescott? Was he on there?
No, just what they were saying to the school.
Oh, so we didn't even get. So he didn't even talk to them. Okay, what a ridiculous bunch of crap. That was like a tease. I thought we were going to get a hear from the snaky little snot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's no big deal. It's not
no, but
fault.
it's still nice to know what they're saying to this school, because it's what they're saying to the school is completely different than what they're saying out in the public.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. And there's continuation of absolutely. Well, there's continuation of that. Let me read to you this, and this I appreciate this from John Bartlett that sent this out over this way. This is from the Indiana Small and Rural School Association. We had a productive meeting about Senate Bill 1 and school closure with a member of the House advocating for the language. We discussed the performance issues. This is 5 hours ago. We discussed the performance issues. Performance was noted as an issue. We asked that the House members clearly document what performance data equals a school, what performance data equals a school school closure. Apparently wherever I went. Other schools need to know and understand what the expectations are. So far, Indiana has not documented specific achievements, performance, or financial performance that equates to a school closure. We ask all schools be held to the same standard and that Indiana document what performance data causes a school closure. We provided ideas on how the state of Indiana could provide more accountability to the virtual public and virtual charter schools. We will continue to advocate for clarity on the issues. It is acceptable to discuss problems and performance issues in public. That is how we move forward for all organizations. We just can't have capricious or special legislation or policies that is not universal to all. This is against our legislative agenda. Okay. And I think that's great. Okay. Now, I want to read to you a statement made by Christina Ogden, I'll come back to that bullshit here in a minute. I want to read a statement by Christina. Give me 1 second. Get it pulled up here. Okay.
I know you're off screen. We've got Krista on here who says
Yeah.
that no one has been held to test score accountability for the last 6 years. No one.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So no one in Indiana's 92 counties have been held in the last 6 years. Man, someone just messed this up. Okay, here we go.
John Bartlett's back on saying that's correct. Why Union hasn't published theirs.
Ah, that's really good. That makes sense. Yes. So yeah, that would make sense. So I'm trying to
stay up here for a bit because they're still commenting. Generally, when schools are going to be held scores, they get some kind of warning and a number of years to improve. We apparently got notified on April 4th. That's what they wanted.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, and so about the meeting that oops, hold on, I didn't mean to take you away.
Yeah, you're fine. I don't need to be on screen. You can still hear me.
No, you're good there. About
Besides, what I'm doing is rated R now.
Yeah, right. Everything tanked when they changed the test a while back. Then COVID happened. So yeah, you're good. Okay, so Christy Ogden, the president of the school board, posted this 2 hours ago. Tonight's public meeting was very informative. We found out that Prescott held a meeting in November of 2024. Prescott held a meeting in November with the president of Modoc's town board and told him Big Bad Prescott alone, he was going to close Union. However, we didn't meet with JD until April 4th. The language was already written. JD told Modoc that he wants the building for a nursing home. He wants the building for a nursing home. I'm not sure who in Randolph County is pulling the strings, but it might be time for people in the county to start asking questions. His mom wants the building for a nursing home. Now, there is a real good thought. That absolutely is. Now it's starting to click. Okay. So that is a really good and interesting thought here. So now what's happening? All right. Damn it. Give me a second here. Let me get this over here. I want to finish her post.
Don't you just love that there's this assumption he makes that if he can close down the school, that he can get the building?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, and that's why what Christy is saying here is right on point. saying, I'm not sure who in Randolph County is pulling the strings. It's JD. It's JD and his family. That's all. They're pulling
JD's
all the
mommy
strings.
and daddy.
JD's mommy and daddy. It's the pie guy. Is the pie guy still alive?
Hi, guys, still alive.
Is he involved in things?
He's retired. Miss Missy is his replacement on the county commissioners board.
Well, and she's a kiss ass to the Prescotts. They're all there and a part of it. Okay. I do not believe for a second that JD Prescott stays awake at night worrying about Union School Corp. Maybe he made some campaign promises to people who do. Next election, though, I guarantee JD Prescott will stay awake at night worrying about Union School. This will be the reason he does not get reelected. People do not appreciate someone targeting children. That is exactly what he is doing here. We will keep fighting at Union. I promise you that. Our community needs our school, and we have to fight this fight for every single small school in the state of Indiana. And I'm telling you, that is true. Listen to me. That is true. If this is not defeated and stuck straight up their asses, this is going to affect, and I'm going to let you know right now, my brother who is all of a sudden magically worried about this because of how it affects sports, go figure. My brother messaged me, and he broke this down and did this work last night. So if this starts affecting the other small counties, small schools in Indiana, this is what he figured out. Let's see here. I was curious about how many schools that could affect if and when this would go through. So I went through and counted all of the counties of less than 50,000. Henry was like at 49 something, so I went ahead and didn't count them. But out of the 409 member schools in the IHSAA, that could potentially mean a loss of 151 schools, dropping the total amount to 258. So this could very seriously affect a lot of people, and it is important. And like Bartlett said, they were ready to put JD and Alexander on a spit, like had they been there. And I think they were ridiculous because they didn't show up. They needed to show up and say, defend why they're so hardcore against this.
I'm hoping that Bartlett is going to answer this question. You're going to want to get the SGA or the IGA open back up, get into Senate Bill number 1.
Yeah,
and
I'm here.
It's number 42 in the committee. Look at that amendment.
Number 42 in the committee.
I did not find this. Bartlett found this. He had posted it on Facebook. So credit where it's due. That's not me. That was him.
Number 42.
Yes, sir.
School consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
One page. This is very simple.
Yep.
Put this up here so people can see her.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett.
Hey, yes, this is wonderful. Okay, proposed amendment. What happened there? Proposed amendment. Senate Bill 1, number 42. School consolidation requires school corporations and metropolitan school districts within a county with a population of 50,000 or less to consolidate into a single school corporation or school district before January 1st, 2031. Okay. Listen. Okay. Section 30. A section applies to counties with a population of 50,000 or less as determined by the 2020 federal decimal census. I hate that this is black and white. I need to figure out how to turn this off School corporations and metropolitan school districts within a county described in a subsection A shall consolidate into single school corporation or school district under the applicable terms of this chapter and IC 20-23-7 before January 1st, 2031. Remember sections consecutively, and that's it. Okay, so that's it. Essentially, sections apply to counties. I mean, that's simple. This section applies to counties with a population of 50,000 or less determined by the 2020 census. School corporations and metropolitan school districts within a county described in subsection A shall consolidate into a single school corporation or school district under the applicable terms of this chapter by January 1st, 2031. And so what they're doing, just to be clear, this amendment failed to get added in committee. Right. Yes. So that's the issue, though. This is basically what they've used for the situation for union. So who do we know who put this forward?
I think you would have to watch the committee meeting because they don't list authors on amendments. Not that I've been able to find anyway, but as I said, that thing is a pain in the butt to navigate.
Yeah.
This is what they really want.
Yeah. Thompson put both amendments forward, but he didn't write them. Okay, that's good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I watched that, but I was so caught up, and that's the thing. I was so caught up on 45, I wasn't paying attention to all the other shit. And you wouldn't think about that. I mean,
368 pages versus 1.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Their super was there.
Okay.
Do we have any idea who actually did write it?
Yeah. Do you know that off the top of your head? It's just a word, meaning, and words matter.
It's how Indiana does their business models. So
yeah.
Schools are businesses. They can get nonprofit. They can apply for grants and stuff like that. And in the state of Indiana, you have to be a corporation to do that.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason. It's for legal, for nonprofit status.
Yeah. Which is probably, what the hell? I don't understand what they've done to these things. I'm convinced that they changed that at some point, because I know that used to not do that. I want to call these people and be like, I don't know what you've done, but that was horrible. But the way it's worded, it can readily be applied to other Indiana school corporations that meet the census criteria. Sneaky. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I'm telling you that they are not thinking about the people, man. It comes down to what it always comes down to. It is money. You don't even say power, because money equates to power. It's money. Who controls the money controls the power. They want the Florida model, so they hand everything over to for-profit charters. Okay. I think it's interesting that Rob Kendall posted just a few moments ago. Big Show Friday will explain in detail how new property tax is going to raise some income taxes, which we've all been talking about. Daniel Elliott, he is the treasurer, will join us to discuss how Indiana Senate GOP is screwing local government's ability to invest their money. And I'll return to my rightful place as Indiana Republican Party's public enemy number one. You know, I knew that Rob would be here eventually, but I honestly thought it would take longer than this.
Well, what did he put on his was it on his Twitter or his Facebook?
Where?
That he wanted to know what people thought he should do.
Yeah, wait, let me show that.
Go find that, because
that is good.
I'm interested to know what the turnout on that was.
You know what it was.
They made up his mind for him because he couldn't decide if he wanted to keep,
I'm
being engaged in the circle jerk or to be a jerk. And I
would like to believe. I would like to think. I would hope that it was a joke, but I just about don't know.
I don't know either. That's why I bring it up.
Rob Kendall said, has anybody seen Senator Travis Holdman? Has anybody seen him all week? That's hilarious. Okay, let me find it here. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. Yeah. All right. So it doesn't say how. Oh, yeah. 813 votes. Final results. So here it is. I'll tell you. You know who has been saying the same thing always and has not been a sellout? The political spotlight. Okay, audience, what say you on tomorrow's show? Should Casey Daniels and I take a measured approach and support a bill that provides some property tax relief and could be helpful over time, but a fraction of what was promised, or just rip it to shreds? 7.9% voted measured and support, and that's Micah. Micah voted on that. Braun voted on that. The few people from their office, and everyone else said rip it to shreds. I just I don't know, man. I just honestly don't have a clue why it's taken Rob this long. I thought he should never have been here. He should have seen this. I knew that something would crack, but I thought it would take longer. But honestly, it shouldn't have taken this long. But I thought because of the new leaf he was turning over that it would take longer. I'm glad it didn't take longer than this. And it's horrible. It's horrible that it's taken this to get him here. Who isn't a sellout? That's right. The political spotlight. Is it to sell out? Alva says Casey has to be careful. Her husband might be at risk. Yeah. Let's be really clear. Again, okay. That's the thing that's, to me, like, I don't understand how they're going to navigate this, because Casey's husband is the communication director, Jim Kehoe, Jim Kehoe, the dude or whatever they call him, is the communications director for Beckwith. Hey, Indiana Small Rural Schools followed me. I'll follow them back. You've been followed, Indiana Rural Schools. Wonderful. So, the bottom line, property tax relief versus tax relief is the question. Yeah, right. The bottom line here is this is not what we've been promised by any of these clowns. We were not promised this. This is not what Braun promised. This is not what Beckwith promised. Beckwith is completely showing his ass. I don't know what he's doing. Braun is a one-term governor. We need to be sure of that. Kendall needs to be saying that. Listen, Kendall talks all of the time about the platform he has. He's got a large platform. He's on the radio. You need to use it. Use it and do the right thing and work your way back into the good graces of the people that didn't understand the last 6 months of your time on the radio down there. So fix this. I wonder who Kendall's new co-host will be. The bottom line, the bill's complete shit. Yes, that's true. Braun needs to go. What they're doing to this school is ridiculous. What they're doing to citizens are ridiculous. What they're doing to veterans are ridiculous. What they're doing to elderly people is ridiculous. What they're doing to renters is ridiculous. Kate has said all week long, they've managed to literally piss every single Hoosier off. They've pissed off local and small governments. They've pissed off police, fire. They've pissed off teachers. They've pissed off Republicans. They've pissed off Democrats. They've pissed each other off. They've pissed off veterans. They've pissed off old people. They've pissed off people that own homes, people that don't own homes, people that buy things, people that work, people that don't work. Literally, if you live in Indiana, you work in Indiana, you play in Indiana, you do anything in Indiana, they have pissed you off with this bill. Some say, hey, maybe this is the perfect bill. That it is not. It is not. They have completely screwed up on this. And we, as the citizens, need to make a clear enough noise, because I don't even want Braun. I want Braun to know that he is so screwed on this that he doesn't even get the thought or the idea to file to run. I don't want to beat him in the election. I just don't want his dumbass to file because he knows it is not, it's not even worth it. That's what I want. There's something in this bill designed to piss you off. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. So thank you for tuning in. I will tell you, I have already been reaching out to Rainwater. Let's just go ahead and plan. We'll do a show tomorrow. There will be a show tomorrow. So plan on being here. It's Friday. And you know what? I was actually not going to do a show tonight, but I was like, I told him we were going to talk about property tax. I'm glad we did. I'm glad we were here. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to hopefully talk to Rainwater, get his thoughts on what's happening, and see what we can make done with this. But I will post and let you guys know. Look, this is great. That's great. Yes, right here. Now they're coming after our grandchildren. This is Mimi pissed. And I love it. I absolutely love that, Jackie. That's wonderful. Yeah, the house that never slumbers. Tune in tomorrow. We'll find out what someone that actually cares about citizens has to say about this, hopefully. and we'll go from there. So thank you guys. Yeah, thank you all for doing the right thing and fighting this. Thank you, Catherine, for attending that town hall and doing that thing there. I'm going to go watch that right now. Thank you, Bartlett, for going to that other event. When you get a chance and figure out the way to do it, send me the audio and we'll break that apart. Thank you guys for commenting and all the people that have shared something. You guys are doing a hell of a lot of good job out there. Thank you. Thank you. Please share the show, spread the message, smash that like button. We've been doing good on that. So smash that and help send the algorithms the right message. And we will see you all back here tomorrow for a very special Friday night episode at 9 p.m. Take care. God bless. Good. Oh, God bless you, by the way, Christy Grabowski, and the rest of you. Goodbye.